Today we'll be talking to you about OSINT, or Open Source Intelligence. First of all, we're going to be saying a couple of words about what OSINT is. Open Source Intelligence? What is OSINT? Open Source Intelligence is a targeted collection, processing, and analysis of public data to gain insights, drive decision-making, and mitigate risks. It uses technology and investigatory techniques to overcome challenges associated with the vast size of public data. So, a couple more words about what OSINT is. It uses multi-methods methodology for collecting, analyzing, and making decisions about data accessible in publicly available sources to be used in an intelligence context. So, basically, OSINT is all about learning how to look for information that is public, but may be somewhat hidden from the general public. It uses a lot of Googling, first of all, and it's just like the first step of hacking someone, getting to know like everything you can about them. How can it benefit the offensive and the defensive side of cybersecurity? First of all, in the offensive side, by gathering publicly available sources of information about a particular target, an attacker or friendly penetration tester can profile a potential victim to better understand its characteristics and to narrow down the search area for possible vulnerabilities. Without actively engaging the target, the attacker can use the intelligence produced to build a threat model and develop a plan of attack. Targeted cyber attacks, like military attacks, begin with their reconnaissance. And the first stage of this reconnaissance is passively acquiring intelligence without alerting the target. The most important thing here is like not alerting the target, obviously. This is why we use OSINT by gathering information that's public about them. There's no real hacking involved, so the target can't know that you are like.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Is this legal?
It is completely legal because it's all public information. You're not actually hacking into anything. There are a few websites that have like leaked data about targets. Those websites, what they do isn't legal, but once the information is out there and it's free for everyone, it is legal to actually go and get it.
Then why such a thing? Why not alert the target?
Because then they can take different steps to pull their information away from the internet, and then you can't find anything about it.
I'm pretty sure once it's on the internet, we won't ever get off the internet.
Well, not exactly. Yeah.
Can't it just change the domain and have the info again under another name?
I mean, yeah, but if you're looking to hack like a big company, it's not so easy to change their domain name and change all their subdomains and everything. It's a bit complicated. Plus, because it's open source, you just search on the internet, so no one's gonna be alerted. So, on the defensive side,
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Can you give me like the easiest kind of offensive reconnaissance attack? Like the easiest.
It's not really an attack. It's just looking for information.
So it's.
You're not attacking anybody. You just.
Maybe that's your interpretation.
What? Yeah.
Information on what? I don't understand. A criminal, an organization?
Like everything. OSINT is used to find information about businesses, organizations, dangerous individuals, missing people, pretty much everything. And I will be talking about this furthermore. There are different organizations that actually put out different capture the flag events on missing people. So someone that might use different OSINT techniques to find missing people might get rewarded through these programs.
So it's like online private investigators.
Yeah. And actually different police officers have cybercrime officers use these techniques to find out information about the people they are trying to hunt down.
Could there be access in parts of, let's say, the darknet?
Not really. Yeah, you can use the darknet, but
I mean, through OSINT, could it by searching find info that is that hidden?
oh no. You have to actually go on the Tor browser to find that kind of information, and this is where it stops being legal. So yeah.
I'm just trying to understand its depth, information you can
Yeah,
access.
you can go and search on the dark web, but it's no longer, it's not legal at this point. So, stages of hacking. This is actually the stages of dark hat hacking. An ethical hacker wouldn't try to maintain access to the system. They would just write a report and then clear the tracks. But yeah, OSINT falls into the reconnaissance category, so it's the first step you take when you're trying to hack someone. You try to find out information about them, like what kind of subdomains do they have? Do they have any public information that you can leverage in a hacking attack? Anything like that. Intelligence life circle, this is kind of like the previous one, like the different steps you take, but only for the reconnaissance part. So we have planning and direction. This is basically like the who, what, when, where, and why questions you have to ask. So it's the first step, like asking the questions that will help us get the results we need. And then there's collections, which is basically OSINT. We're not going to bother with the other ones because this is going into too much depth. So-called accounts. So-called accounts are basically like a whole different personality you have on the internet. It's like creating different accounts that will help you find information on someone on their social media or whatever. There's actually a very good article, The Art of the Sock by secjust.com, and there's a lot of interesting information on there. Like there was a research that found out that many many criminals actually are more likely to give out information to pretty girls on the internet. So many investigators use this technique to actually create like a fake.
I'm sorry, many criminals what?
Many criminals are more likely to give out information on a pretty girl on the internet.
Oh, okay, so.
So many investigators actually create soft pocket accounts of pretty girls and try to basically catfish the criminals into giving them information.
Like, soft puppet, we mean catfishing, right?
What?
Is it like catfishing?
Yeah, it's exactly like catfishing, but it's legal. I don't know. So different stuff that you have to take into consideration when making a soft pocket account. You have to have an actual name. You have to have photos of the person. You have to have emails that don't have any link to you at all. Social media accounts, addresses that correspond to actual houses and places of work. So for example, you can have an address that if someone searches it up, it corresponds to like a school or something, because it won't be believable. You actually have to create a whole different person. Places of work, occupation, so you can't have the soft puppet account of a 20-year-old and have them be a surgeon. It won't be believable. Relatives and so on. This can be done through different websites, or you can actually do it manually, but this is a great website for creating a soft puppet account. They give you a name, they give you an email address, they give you different passwords, dates of birth, and yeah, they actually just generated for the whole different personality. And this person does not exist.com, another amazing website. It actually uses AI to mass up a bunch of different faces and then create a person that actually does not exist because it's just an AI mass up of different pictures and data. So Tracelabs VM framework. Tracelabs is an organization that makes different programs or capture the flag events to find missing people. This also have a VM, virtual machine account VM. This is the wallpaper, it's kind of the trademark. It's basically a Kali machine, but it's loaded with a bunch of hosting tools instead of, let's say, exploitation tools. Search engine OSINT. I think this is the most important of everything here. You have to learn how to Google things and how to get the results you want. When you try to Google, let's say, a name, it might tell you, oh, we didn't find anything with the first name on there, so this is everything with the last name. So a good way to bypass the kind of is to put those little articles. Quotation marks, yeah. Is to put quotation marks, so it basically takes it as a string or something, and just searches the whole phrase. Also, if you want to search something within a specific site, you just write site and then the domain.com.
Like if you search, can you do this on Facebook and write my name would pop up?
What?
If you do this on Facebook and you write my name,
It will show all the different Facebook profiles with that specific name. And then also, this is a lot like programming actually. This is to add different strings or to search one thing over another. This is what we call a wildcard. So if you, let's say you want to search specific subdomains, let's say you want to search tesla.com, but you don't want the www website and you want to search everything else. This basically says take out the www and replace it with a wildcard. So just so everything else, forums, like everything else they have. This is to search within a specific site, search a file type. So this is actually really important. You can search different PDF files, Excel files, or docx, and some websites might have sensitive information on there, like passwords or company emails, and it's just public. This is to search a specific thing in the text of a different website, in the URL, and in the title. We don't use that as much. Image OSINT, first of all, there's reverse image searching. So, for example, if you have an image and you want to see if that person has posted the specific image on Facebook and Instagram, let's say, you will just drag and drop that image into Google and it will show you all the different results that have this image on there. Also, exit data. Every single picture you take on your phone has some data like behind the picture, let's say, and that would be the model of the phone that took the picture. Things like exposure or the flash was on, location, time, pretty much everything. And you can see this exit data either on Kali or on this website. And it's kind of like a command that will write the exit data of that specific photo on a file.
so like exit data.
Exit data is all the information that's attached to every single picture you take on your phone, like ever. There's no way to disable that, and
Thanks, sir.
yeah. Only, well, if you actually post a picture on Facebook or Instagram, those sites, because they're pretty popular, they will automatically delete the exit data or like encrypt it. So you can just take a picture of Instagram and then put it there. OSINT, those.
So if, for example, some person on Facebook, some criminal on Facebook uploads a picture, and they don't say, they don't state in the description of the picture where they are, but the FBI is like searching for them, and they download that picture and get the exit data and figure out at least the.
I'm not really sure about that. I'm sure the FBI
It's
has
one
some
of, is it
techniques.
one of the things that they would try to do?
Yeah, of course. I'm not really sure if the FBI has certain tools to their disposal that can actually do this kind of thing, but I'm sure we don't. So yeah. Email OSINT, this is basically like hunting down emails, either to companies, specific individuals, or just checking if an email is valid. Because let's say you found an email and you don't know if this email actually exists. This is how you search it. Counter.io searches for a specific pattern. So if you, let's say, want to find different company emails on Tesla or Google or whatever, it will find the pattern they use. Kind of like SHZ.exe, where they use the first letter of your first name, then a period and your last name. It will find that specific pattern, and yeah. Phonebook.cz. This also looks for emails inside an organization. It's a little bit better than Hunter.io, to be honest.
So it searches for emails within the
Yeah.
domain, I guess.
If you want to find, if you were to put inside like @SZ.exe,
So,
it would find a bunch of emails of students.
wow, is this free?
Yeah, those are actually free. Then Vo and Obert, those are just can only search within your organization. It doesn't really work. And then Email Hippo and Email Checker is to search to see whether an email you found is valid, whether it does exist, whether it's active, something like that. And then Heatmail, right here, it's a tally tool. And it basically uses all those websites to just give you a more organized look of everything.
Will you share with us these slides after on Teams?
What?
Can you share those slides after the meeting?
Yeah.
On Teams?
Yeah.
That I would use them, I'm just saying.
Okay. Password hosting. Bhas is a great website, if I'm being honest, but it does require a subscription and it is quite expensive, so I haven't tested it. It uses data found, but it's kind of hidden. So basically, those are different databases of linked data, all of them. Willik info. This was recently down. It was used by the FBI, but it is back up. But I'm not sure it's the same database, so it doesn't really work anymore. But I had to put it down because, yeah. Have I been informed? This is also a great website. You basically put down your email and it shows you if there have been any data leaks on different websites that you might have put your email on. So,
when you like input your email in the newsletter thing, and then they sell it to someone else,
yeah.
I would see that there.
Yeah. Recently, well, not recently, but there was a hack on Wattpad, and it basically, like every single email that was there, it was compromised. And so, if you were a user of Wattpad, it would show you like you need to change your password because there have been leaks. And then Scala is currently down, but it was great while it lasted.
Skyla.
What?
Pronounced Skyla?
I think so.
I like the other pronunciation better.
I don't know. I have heard the Scala, I don't know. Then username and account hosting. Those three links basically show you the availability of different usernames. So if you want to get a domain name or a username, it will show you that, let's say, it's taken on Instagram, but it's free on Facebook. So this is a good way to find people that have occupied usernames. This might be the greatest one on here, to be honest. This is Sherlock. You basically like write on Kali Sherlock and then the username, and then it gives you all the different websites that uses username, and then it also provides the links. But
Is this for everyone? What if I make it private? Or what if my Twitter account is private?
it will still show you the
That
account,
exists?
even though it's private. And then they can just like cut paste you and just follow you.
This is starting to be a very valuable course now. I'm gonna have to delete all my accounts after this.
So searching for people, this is pretty amazing as well. The white pages. This is a completely legal website where you can actually search a person. Unfortunately, you have to be a US citizen to actually enter it. You can bypass that, but you have to be a US citizen. It shows you everything from parking violation tickets or whatever a person might have. It shows you the criminal record, shows you relatives, even their political party.
For US citizens or for, I don't mean the user, I mean the people that we serve?
It is mostly for US citizens and some other states.
Wait, so, for to search the citizens, or you have to be one? Both.
Both. The database is for US citizens, but you can
So
access
you can do
it with a VPN.
You can do it.
This is a little bit too general here because you only have to write down the first name and the last name. So it will show you the names from people all over the world. So it will say put down my name there, it might show you another copy from Mexico. So it is a little bit too general. Those three actually do the same thing. It's basically like web mine, but you actually have to write down the city and the country, so it's a little bit more specific. And then it's also US based, and it's not as great as the white paper. And then voter records. This is a pretty terrifying website, if I'm being honest. It is the actual US government's voter records on the US. It doesn't include all the US states. I think it's about 25 states. And you can actually see everything about the person. If they're registered to vote, you can see everything about them. Things from their political party, relatives, like if they have committed a crime, if they have a registered vehicle, everything. Social media also, it's basically like a bunch of clicks, I know. For Twitter also, this is basically a bunch of data they have on a specific account. So if you download the and it will show you those are the kind of hashtags they have used most. This is the accounts that they interact with the most. So basically analytics. Then sleeptime.org. It shows you the time where a user is most active. So it might show you even their sleep schedule. Yeah. Then on the other links do the same thing basically. Yeah. And this doesn't really work anymore.
What are the other ones, like Facebook and posting?
I actually don't use
Just
Facebook
like-
at all, so I don't.
Like the pattern, it shows you a pattern of the posting, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I actually don't have a Facebook, never have, and I don't know anything about that. But yeah, I thought there was an honorable mention, so over there. Instagram also basically shows you This is the location that they tagged the most. Those are the people that they tagged the most. So it might show you close relatives, friends, everything like that. Then website also. All of those basically show you what a website is built with. So the kind of code they used or who they paid to have that specific domain name. Might show you, this one show you different subdomains that they have. This one is the most important out of everything. Basically, that's everything on our simple website.
Can you see who purchased the website?
Yeah. You can basically see everything.
So, if you see the person that purchased, what kind of information do you see of that person?
Yeah, you will see what date they purchased the domain
Does
on.
it show you the full name? The email?
It shows you the organization, the actual name, but yeah. Then Sudan, this is a search engine for the Internet of Everything, is how they call it, but it is paid, and again, it's pretty expensive, so I haven't tried it. Then hunting phone numbers. This is basically, those are for ID, so find the ID of a person that might have called you, or if you have found a telephone online number, you can put them there and say if it's a valid number, first of all, if it corresponds to an organization, everything like that. And then this tool right here, Untitled will show you what's the carrier of the phone, maybe even a name, if the organization doesn't have that good security. And this command right here is basically like, say, hey, open this tool on that port, and then you go to that port and you have a more graphical interface of the tool. Hosting frameworks, multi-tool, this is great tool. It is basically like a flowchart for a person. You have different entities right here that you can drag and drop onto there. You have, let's say, a person, it automatically finds everything there is in the internet about them. If you have tcmsec.com and it has found a bunch of subdomains. You have tesla.com. This is again, like with a click of a button, it has found all the subdomains they have, some company emails, some IP addresses, or location. Yeah, this is pretty something, so there's a bunch of other info.
This is automatic? You just
Yeah.
press the button?
It takes a couple of minutes, but it's pretty much automatic. Yeah. Να δείξω και παράδειγμα.
None. Gusto nga si Timo the phone content. Then what na phone politics.
Το phone hunter θέλει. Δεν βάζω το δικό μου, φέρει το δικό σας.
Ναι, το δικό μου.
Α, του θέλει Ιταλία. Δεν έχουμε καλύτερο. Sorry. Εγώ μόνο και κάτι ξέρω.
Windows Facebook.
Είσαι τόσο τέλος που κάνεις.
Keep going is on French.
Είναι σε γαλλικά, αλλά έχω το κάτω.
How to get the access data of different photos. So this is a great website. Let's say we have found some photos of mine and we don't know where I took them, where I was, when I took them, when I took them, I don't know. don't remember which one this is. Okay, so we have found the photo. This is our photo.
This is your photo?
Yeah.
How was that much bigger?
Thank you. Yeah. Okay, so what we have found from this photo is that I used an OnePlus phone. This is the lens that I used. This is when I took it, the exact time and seconds, everything. And this is the exact location of the photo. So
Wait, is this real? If I get like a picture from Instagram and download it and put it there, it will show me all that?
no, because it won't, because they
Because
actually
it's decrypted, right?
it's decrypted, yeah. But if let's say you have found a photo that hasn't been decrypted, you can actually see all this. And so here we see the exact location where it was when I took that photo.
Everybody becomes so.
And this is the exact location where I was standing when I took that photo. So we know that like on the third I was in the center of Athens. This might be valuable information for someone.
Are you implying something?
What?
Are you implying something?
I don't know. Or let's see, those I don't remember.
She's implying that you should not post Insta pictures on the internet when your angry girlfriend is looking for you.
Yeah.
Your actual place.
So this photo, I don't remember where that was on. What you guys see? Okay, so this photo was taken on February 15th, 2020, so it's pretty old. It was taken on a Samsung phone. Let's see the location. It was taken on Thessaloniki. And what's pretty amazing about that is it was zooming. I was about 2 weeks, not as close. But yeah, this is the exact location where I was standing when I took the photo. You can see that view is pretty much the same. So yeah, that might be valuable information.
This can happen with any random picture that you have on your phone. Just put it there.
Yeah. If it was taken directly with your camera and you haven't tampered with it, like, I think that if you have tampered with it, like, you have added different filters and everything, it does kind of delete the exit data and replace it with whatever data the app has under. But yeah, it pretty much happens with everything pretty much. Even screenshots. Yeah.
Screenshots are basically have the same thing as taking a photo.
Yeah, but it won't show you the exposure settings of the camera. It will show you it will show you. We will blip that out. Yeah, it will show you what kind of analysis you have on your phone.
The resolution of the screen.
Thank you.
Question. So, wait, any device that takes any photo of any sort automatically appends this data, all of this data, to the actual file?
Yeah.
If you open your album and you scroll upwards, generally it says.
Well, iPhone didn't until, I think they may have changed that, but there was no way to
I
find
think
it.
they do, because I have an iPhone for like 7 years, and it has the location time from like a trip to New York.
Location time, but it won't tell you like size of the photo file, would it?
That's
I think
Okay, here, no, I'm not saying it's not a thing, but iOS, I've struggled with this as well in the past, like it's hard to find it, file information like that, maybe you're wrong, but.
No, I don't know.
We'll
what
find
it
out.
is.
if you drop the picture on your PC or something, you can look at the details on.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
there's.
yeah, no, I just mean within the iOS.
The thing with the iPhone is that using the iPhone, you cannot find the information, they hide it. But if you transfer the information to other device, you can find everything. You have the security while you are using iPhone. While you are using it, you have the security. If you transfer the data to other device, you don't have the security. It's not encrypted anymore.
It's like using Linux.
Yeah, you're using that device and you have security. If you're moving on, you don't have the security.
Do you know when they started doing this? Because I'm sure there's a point where this wasn't the case.
Since forever. I mean,
No, I mean, there was probably a point where like photos were just photos and they didn't have this, all this
I mean,
information automatically
It
generated.
was.
when you had a flip phone, maybe.
And even
But it still
then,
showed you like the resolution, the type of phone that you use.
even then they use the GSM location to show the position.
Put the phone
I know that
Yeah,
one,
even
so I
the button,
haven't
yeah,
had
they
the
have
flip phone yet.
I cannot really say it correct. I think it was GSM or GS.
Even
something.
without an internet connection.
Yeah.
I never had a flip phone on my life, so.
Seriously?
I'm making the hell, I'm sorry. Yeah.
From what I understand, you really like this stuff. You also like social engineering.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, you can utilize that kind of information on a phishing attack, for sure. Are you gonna give us your phone number now?
This is someone I hate.
Who wants to give us like an email or the
Okay,
phone
Ale,
number?
you take mine. You take mine.
Okay.
You're on a French keyboard, so don't try and erase it. If you go to the bottom right corner of the
Yeah,
screen,
it's-
just change it there on the.
I have one number racer there.
Yeah.
I remember this.
Okay, 69.
Okay. 46.
Yeah, 11. 76 21. Probably this number will be raised.
Fuck. Yeah. Wait. Who wants to give us a good answer?
Let me try.
Where's the phone number?
I use it, and my dad uses it because he forgets names of everyone that calls him, and he never says their names.
I think I have to call it.
I had those.
I pay for it.
What? Is this your actual name?
Yeah, it has my WhatsApp name, I know, because they take data from WhatsApp and Viber.
Okay, I haven't actually used this, so yeah. So that you have Vodafone carrier. So if I were to utilize that in a social engineering attack, I could say I am from Vodafone and I want your information.
And you try to upgrade my.
And then, is your actual name?
Yeah, this is one of my
Okay, so
secondary.
we found an email here.
How
This
is
is all public now, so good luck.
how does this have access to like email? Is it only through apps? Like say you didn't have WhatsApp, Viber, or whatever. Like how is it connected to the phone number?
I actually don't know, I haven't used that one. I have only used the other version.
Like if you download the Truecaller, you will scan your contacts and you can save them in their database. So if somebody else got the call from that number, from X number, and he added that name and the number with his contact list, so it will show you the name that he added in his contact list.
How do you know this?
I know
Yeah,
that
it's
stuff,
kind of how it works. For example, let's say we're three friends, right? Me and him are friends, but you're calling me, so I don't have your number, I don't know anything about you or anything.
But if we share the same database,
Yeah, so basically we're in the same database, so when if you are on his contact list and you call me, I get your name. Because we are in the same database and we're basically in the same place. And we have names above our heads, so we know who everyone
You
is.
will not find the real name, though, but the name that.
The name that you register, for example, if you go to Vodafone and you give them a fake name, your fake name will show up because that's how you register.
They don't retrieve the data from the provider, they retrieve the data from the users. So if you have my name, let's say, iPhone user, let's say, it will show iPhone user.
We have found valid email address. I don't expose you, I'm sorry.
Okay, do you want, I will give you a temporary email, let's say,
Your what?
a temporary email.
Okay.
Just a moment.
Every time you say their phone number, there's some file, there's some folder in the system that cannot have information.
This actually has up to 5 searches a day per user, so then it blacklists your IP and then you can try again the next day.
But this,
So there is a premium version of it. Huh? Okay.
Okay, I'm copying it, worst lesson.
Give me your
Okay,
question.
just look at this. This is a temporary email. And then
you just gave her your phone. You just gave her your phone.
Yeah, you're dangerous.
I'm not. I was doing that when I was in 16 or 5 years old. So, I download that stuff.
It is a valid email.
It's a valid email, but it is.
But it is. I mean, you have an inbox in there, right? So if I were to send you an email.
Whenever I close the tab,
Close that.
it will not be valid. It's closed. It says again it's valid, but I don't have any access to that anymore. Oh, you have.
Yeah.
But okay, yeah.
This happens.
The first one I had was yeah, I used also Chilean. Yeah, it was massive at that time. Like they don't have security. And you just change the language. Or the speed like.
I stopped when I became able to get a Facebook account.
Now you cannot get it.
Of course you can, you just do social engineering.
Then you could just go into
I'll never go and try podcast, it was always playing the user somewhere. Maybe getting a little over, and I would like switch the website.
Excuse me, are you presenting over here? Okay, now you have.
I have a question.
Okay, yeah.
You've learned all this stuff. How do you feel about work? Like, when you monetize this thing, isn't your morality in a difficult spot? Because the company might want you to do something that you don't agree with.
Are you asking about my personal morals?
Because when you're younger,
I have no morals.
I mean, I do study that stuff, so.
To put it in a much simpler way, he's saying, what if we can generalize this thing where someone asks you to do something that, let's say, it's morally wrong? How would you feel, or like how would the majority of people feel?
I mean, personally,
Because
how good will the money be? Because if I'm being honest, I would do it for the right amount of cash. I know this isn't the answer you want to hear, but
Just take my view, this is recorded.
no,
I don't
it's
know. Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure someone might not do it, but yeah. If you're looking to give me example, though. So this is about everything I have to say about the specific topic. So if you want to comment,